I didn't touch anything over there. This? No, I didn't touch anything. I didn't see anything.
A lot of pictures.
Pictures? Nada. I now see nothing. Only the wine. Somebody else took them already.
Okay, well, we can't start with everything. I'm sorry.
That's okay. I'll go sit down.
Somebody took all my pictures in a folder with notes. Yeah. So I told Jessica we can't start with everything.
Jerry's leaving today.
Oh, Jerry's leaving?
I guess he's leaving Murray.
Okay.
Do you want to leave the coffee shop, or do you want me to? Either way. I mean, I don't have a bar tonight, so I'm not saying anything.
Okay.
So whatever you prefer. If you'd like to be great.
Easy peasy. Sure.
You okay?
I look for girls. No, I'm fine.
Enjoy. Like me, I didn't realize Jerry is leaving Murray.
Yeah, nobody told me that either.
She's the
Who
Friday night.
does service leaders Friday nights?
Already told mine. The Jerry is leaving. Well, you know what?
It's okay. So, sorry, but Jerry's not leaving. I didn't care. But,
Please tell me you're not surprised.
so Jessica thought she was going out overnight, so Jessica's going to talk about Shabbat. Is that all right? Yeah. Whatever you want. Huh? I'm gonna put this here though. This is
Shabbat shalom, everybody. A long time since I've been up here. Welcome to Beth Torah. Those of you here in the sanctuary, it's great to see a nice full crowd tonight. And for those of you on streaming, here or anywhere around the country, here to celebrate our Founders Day weekend, and our Founders Day this evening, and our whole weekend celebrating the wonderful, exciting installation of our Rabbi Sidney. So tonight is Founders Day, and it's our 50th anniversary, actually tonight. Yes. We couldn't have planned it better that it's the actual day. We have So, little history. 4 years ago, when I was congregation president, our first president and my mentor here at Beth Torah, Howie Fields, passed away. And people, who's Howie? Who was Howie? Who's Howard Fields? And I said, wait a minute. We all, especially the next generation, needs to really know about Beth Torah and our history, because my opinion is we can't move forward until we know where we've been. And why do we do things? Because of some of our history and our traditions. So this is our 4th annual Founders Day. Harriet Gross said to me, why are you calling it the first annual Founders Day? I said, because we're going to do it every year. She goes, no, you're not. You'll do it one year. I said, Harriet, you know me better than that. So welcome to our 4th Founders Day. Beth Torah actually did start Friday, November 1st, 1974. It was founded by 6 families, David and Marilyn Adler, Steve and Flora Brothman, Howard and Patty Fields, Neil and Rebecca Sclaver, Barry and Marcia Summerstein, and Harvey and Gail Weiner. Patty and Howie Fields held the initial planning meeting a few months prior to November in their home, where it was decided with these 6 families that a new synagogue was going to be conservative, check, family-oriented, check, and a place where everyone would be equally involved in learning, check. Thus, the name Congregation Beth Torah, a house of learning, has been our name for 50 years as of today. In your programs, I hope you got one for this evening. I don't remember what page we put it on, but there is a Founders Day prayer. Page 5. Oh, I didn't know what, I thought Jessica was just waving to me. Page 5, thank you. Okay. The first year that we did Founders Day, we had the founders that were here and all the past presidents recite this. Since then, we've had the whole congregation do it. The first Founders Day, again, as I mentioned, Howie Fields, our first president, and one of our founding families had just passed away, so we honored all the presidents. The second year, there he is, David. Raise your hand. David Adler, one of our founding members. I didn't even see him. Thank you. I did. The second year, we honored our staff. Some of you may remember it happened to be Tom Moon, our facilities manager. Tom's, I think it was his 40th anniversary here. So we honored Tom. Last year, we honored, or talked about the building and how we had grown the building and all the multiple buildings we've had. So again, tonight, we're going to be talking a little bit later, and thank you to my partner, as we say, partner in crime, my dear friend Zaylene Lovett, who helped me with the program that you'll see a little bit later, talking about our history of our rabbis, which again will lead into tomorrow's installation of Rabbi Rubinstein. So if you'll all read Founders Day prayer with me. May we always have enough joy to keep us sweet, enough trials to keep us strong, enough hope to keep us happy, enough failure to keep us humble, enough success to keep us eager, enough community to give us comfort, enough wealth to meet our needs, enough enthusiasm to look forward, enough nostalgia to treasure our past, enough faith to believe there's a plan for us, enough determination to make each year better than the last. And let us say, Amen. I'm going to turn it over to Jessica Winter, who's going to lead us in Kabbalat Shabbat this evening.
Shabbat Shalom. We're going to begin on page 5 with Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharei, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei HaMlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech Malachei HaMelachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu Niveh Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech Malachei HaMelachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Seizchem l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech Malachei HaMelachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So I have a sheet here that's telling me not only the page number in Lev Shalom, but the page number in Sim Shalom, and the page number on the PDF if you're using the PDF. So that's the order I'm going to say page numbers in. So page 11 for Lechuna Ranana, 254 or 15. Lechuna Ranana, Lechuna Ranana, Lechuna Ranana, Ladonai. Lechuna Ranana, Lechuna Ranana, Lechuna Ranana, Ladonai. Naria, Naria, Lesori Shenu, Nekadma Fana Betoda. Naria, Naria, Lesori Shenu, Bismirot Naria Lo. Lechuna Ranana, Lechuna Ranana, Lechuna Ranana, Ladonai. Lechuna Ranana, Lechuna Ranana, Lechuna Ranana, Ladonai. We continue with Shir Ladonai, page 13, 254 or 16. Shir Ladonai, Shir Chadash, Shir Ladonai, Kol Haaretz. Shir Ladonai, Baruch Shemo, Pathru Miyom Le'yom Yeshuato, Safru Vagoyim Kevodo, Bechol Ha'amim Niflotav. La 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la. Shir Ladonai, Shir Chadash, Shir Ladonai, Kol Haaretz. Shir Ladonai, Baruch Shemo, Basru Miyom Le'yom Yeshuato, Safru Vagoyim Kevodo, Bechol Ha'amim Niflotav. We continue on the next page, halfway down the page at the arrow with Yismechu, which is 14, 256, or the bottom of 16. Yismechu hashamayim, hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, betagel haaretz. Yiramayim, 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 umlo. Yiramayim, 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 umlo. Yismechu hashamayim, hashamayim. Hashamayim, Yismechu Hashamayim, Yismechu Hashamayim, V'tagel haaretz. Please read with me on page 14, starting at the arrow in the English. The heavens shall be glad and the earth rejoice, the sea in its fullness roar, the meadows and all that grows in them exult. Even the trees of the forest shall sing praise, as Adonai comes to judge the earth, judging lands with righteousness and peoples with divine truth. We continue on page 258, or the bottom of 19, with Romemu. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'ishtachavu lehar kodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'ishtachavu lehar kodsho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Romemu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Romemu. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'ishtachavu lehar kodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'ishtachavu lehar kodsho. We continue on page 21 with Ms. Morla David, or 260 or 220. Please rise if you're able. Ms. Morla David, Havu Adonai b'nei Elim, Havu Adonai kavod va'os, Havu Adonai kevod shemo. Ishtachavu l'Adonai b'hara kodesh, Kol Adonai al hamayim, el hakavod hirim. Adonai, Adonai, al mayim rabim. Kol Adonai b'hakoach, Kol Adonai be'adar, Kol Adonai shever arazim, v'yishaber Adonai et arzei havonon, v'yarkidem kemo egel levanon v'sirion, kemo ven re'elim. Kol Adonai chotzef lavadesh, Kol Adonai yachil midbar, yachil Adonai midbar kadesh, Kol Adonai yachayel ayavod, vayachasov ye'arod, uv'echalot kulo merkavod, kulo merkavod. Adonai lama buyashav, vayeshev Adonai melech le'olam. Adonai oz le'am yitain, Adonai yevarech et amo v'shalom. You may be seated. We continue with the Chadodi, page 23, 262, or 21. We are going to sing the first 3 verses and then turn to page 25 to sing the last 2 verses. And when we reach the last verse, we will rise to welcome the Shabbat Queen. Lechadodi leikrakala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Lechadodi leikrakala, penei shemo echad l'shem u'tiferet ve'letila le'chadodi le'ikra kala pene Shabbat nekabela likrat Shabbat lechuvenelcha ki mekor haberacha merosh mikedem nesucha sof ma'aseh b'machsheva techila lechadodi le'ikra kala pene Shabbat nekabela mikdash melech ir melucha kumitziin mitacha pecha ravach shevet ve'emecha bacha vehu yachamo alayichem lechadodi le'ikra kala pene Shabbat nekabela yaminu smol tifrot zivietz Adonai tarisi al yadish ben parsi v'nismecha v'nagila v'chadodi le'ikra kala pene Shabbat nekabela vo'i v'shalom aterebala gam b'simcha u'v'salat tochem unei am segula bo'y chala lechadodi le'ikra kala pene Shabbat nekabela lechadodi le'ikra kala pene Shabbat nekabela. You may be seated. We continue on page 27, 266 or 23 with Tov Lehodot, very top of the page on 27. Tov Lehodot Adonai u'lezamer l'shimcha elyon. Tov Lehodot Adonai u'lezamer l'shimcha elyon. Lehagid baboker chastecha ve'emunacha ba'lelot. Lehagid baboker chastecha ve'emunacha ba'lelot. Tov lehodot Adonai u'lezamer l'shimcha elyon. Tov lehodot Adonai u'lezamer l'shimcha elyon. And continue on page 28, which is not on the list, so I don't know what it is in Life Shalom or Sim Shalom or the PDF. But we'll continue with Tzadik Katamar, middle of page 28 at the arrow. Tzadik Katamar yifrach ke'erez bavanon yizgeshetulim beveit Adonai b'chatzrot Eloheinu yafrichu ojenuhum b'seva read responsively with me on page 29. Adonai is sovereign, robed in splendor, girded in strength. The earth stands firm, not to be dislodged. From earliest time you were enthroned, you are eternal. In your house, beautiful in its holiness, your testimonies endure, Adonai, for all time. On the opposite side of the page in the English, or in the Hebrew, sorry, at the arrow in the middle of the page, Mikolot Mayim Rabim. Mikolot Mayim Rabim, Mayim Rabim Adirim, Mishpereyam, Hadir B'marom Adonai. Yada da 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 da, yada da 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 da, yada da 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 da, yada da 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 da, yada da 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 da, yada da 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 da. Hey do tacha namnu meod levechana. Adonai leorech yamim, yada da 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 da, yada da 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 da, yada da 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 da, yada da da, yada da 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 da, yada da 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 da, yada da 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 da. Adonai leorech yamim. We continue on page 30 with Mourner's Kaddish. Yikadal v'yikadash shemei Rabbah, v'yamad divrach cherutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, v'agala v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam u'me'amaya. Yibarach v'yishtabach v'yipa'ar v'yiramam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei d'kedusha rechu le'ela min kol berchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damiran b'yama v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu yaseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. And I don't know what's next. Zaylene knows what's next? Zaylene knows what's next, so I am turning it over to Zaylene. She found her folder.
Good Shabbos, everybody. This is such a nice, warm place. It's a pleasure to be here. And earlier we had this little happy hour, and I was listening to the chat. And people, not new members, were talking about why they came here and what a warm place it is and what pleasure inside it gives them to be here. And that makes me proud. And I think that people who care attract other people who care. And I think that's the theme with the rabbis we have had. Some of them were more skilled than others. Some of them stayed here longer than others. But the theme that you will hear is that they cared. And that is wonderful. And that's what we're going to continue to do. And Rabbi Sidney is going to lead the way. I don't know if you met her family. I'm going to embarrass you all. We're going to start with the matriarch. Please stand up, turn around. Her name is Joanne Adler, and I really want them to see you. You didn't show your face over there. I'm sorry. You have to turn around that way. Okay. And then comes her father, Michael Adler, please. And then comes tomorrow's star. Please stand up in case we have any guests. We have had 9 rabbis. 8 of them were under contract as full-time rabbis. The first one was a guest rabbi who got us started. The people who are going to tell you about them are members who have something always to contribute. That doesn't mean that they have known these rabbis. I bet a lot of you probably never heard of some of these rabbis, and that's okay, because each of them made a contribution. And so don't expect a great history. We're not going to keep you here forever extolling these wonderful people, but each of them contributed to get us where we are now. So the first one who's going to share with us is Rabbi Jordan Parr, and he's here someplace. There he is. And I'm going to be Vanna, and this is the rabbi he is going to talk about.
Thank you, Zaleen. That's what he looks like. Okay. Yeah, like most of you, I did not know Rabbi Philip Lippis. Obviously, he was the first rabbi here. He served during the High Holidays of 1976. And by way of inference, that was my freshman year of college, so it was a couple of years ago. And like most of you, you knew him, but we didn't know him, but I can understand the challenges that he and the congregation faced during that experience. See, I've been fortunate. I've been the quote-unquote first rabbi at several of my positions over the years. And I can tell you that it's challenging, both for the rabbi and for the congregation. And it's challenging because we're establishing not just the congregation, but the culture that would last for decades, and we all hope that we get it right. He came here from Chicago, and again, I can relate, a Midwestern rabbi facing a flock of Texans is never easy. I've been there. And there must have been high anticipation and excitement, and Patty Fields, who sent me some information via Zaleen, remembers him, Rabbi Lippis, fondly, and I'm sure she was not alone at the time. And he predicted that as a Dallas Jewish community grew, so would congregation Beth Torah, and he was really eager to see us flourish. And really, I only wish that he could have seen our growth and success. Tragically, he died from injuries suffered in a car accident in 1977. Yeah. So he never saw just how successful and wonderful this congregation has become. But his Menschlichkeit set, as Patty noted, a very high bar for us as a role model. And in my opinion, we've met that bar, and we have validated his faith in us. And to you, Rabbi Lippis, we say, thanks in large part to you, we got it right. Thank you.
Okay. Our first full-time rabbi was Len Lifshin. And where are you? Okay, come on, guy.
I was here when we had Rabbi Lipshin. We must have done one heck of a sales job, because Rabbi Lipshin was the senior rabbi at the conservative synagogue in Oklahoma City. And the conservative synagogue in Oklahoma City had a beautiful building, beautiful sanctuary, beautiful Sunday school, They had been a 100-year-old synagogue. They had plenty of money. We had nothing. We didn't even have a building. When he came here, we used the Community Lutheran Church as our sanctuary. His office was in his home. Now, the trivia question that's really important for everyone to know, everyone knows trivia, that George Washington was our first president. Then Neil Armstrong was the first astronaut to land on the moon. Leonard Lifshin was the first full-time rabbi at Congregation Beth Torah. Now, there's a mystery, and I'm glad David Adler is here. Maybe we can ask him this. Rabbi Lifshin came here. He was here a very short time. I remember me and Shirley came to a Shabbat service one Friday, and the next Friday he was gone. and to this day, maybe David Adler knows, nobody knows what happened. But he did end up on his feet. For the next 27 years, he was the head rabbi at the Conservative Synagogue in Erie, Pennsylvania, for 27 years. He left there and retired to Virginia to be with his children and his 5 grandchildren. And unfortunately, in 2017, he died of a heart attack. So thank you, Zaylene, for sharing the information on Leonard Lifshin. And David, if you know the answer to that question, I would love to know. I've been waiting 50 years for the answer.
Okay, is there a prize?
Michael, is there a free membership?
No. Well, you said that Len Lifshin didn't last here very long?
Less than 2 years.
Oh, okay, well, Nancy Siegel, where are you? Do you have him beat?
I have indeed.
Okay, we're gonna talk about Michael Goldberg.
Okay, that's not who I remember, but I feel old. I know all of them. But Rabbi Goldberg was our rabbi from July of 1980 to January of 81, when he realized he wasn't cut out to be a pulpit rabbi. He elevated our adult education program. Adults and teens learned together. He was a great orator, a great teacher. And in fact, when he left, he stayed in Dallas for a year, and a bunch of us studied in our homes. He would come and teach, and for that year, there was probably about 6 couples from the synagogue who studied with him, because he was not a great pulpit rabbi, but he was a great teacher. A lot of what I know about Judaism and giving me a feeling about Judaism came from Rabbi Goldberg. He helped me understand that in all religions, there's a narrative. Ours begins with the Exodus story. And a little bit what he graduated from Yale, his undergraduate degree, and his PhD was from the Graduate Theological Union in Berkeley. He today is an acclaimed writer and speaker. He held 2 university chairs. You can see, his idea of being an educator. But he also served as a professional ethicist with the Georgia Supreme Court, providing support to religiously diverse patients and families as a chaplain and hospice. He's written a lot of books. Why Should Jews Survive? Jews and Christians Getting Our Stories Straight. That's the narrative that every religion has their own narrative. His latest published book, though, is different. It's a novel, and it's drawn on his experiences as a rabbi and a chaplain and an ethicist. It follows a man's life through love, loss, anger, and redemption. He was here a short time, but he did make an impact on many of us through his ability to educate.
Thank you. He really was a very gifted educator, and he made a short but impactful impact on our congregation, on our members.
He also was instrumental in starting our, what we call our God Squad, which is a group of Torah readers. Congregants learn how to read Torah from us.
Isn't that interesting? He was here maybe 6 months, and the ripple is still with us.
His installation was
Loud, loud.
His installation was very interesting. He organized it.
Come back. You need the mic.
I can speak loudly.
But the stream may not be able to hear.
You're gonna make me do the steps.
Yep.
For those who remember his installation, he wrote it himself. He made it a marriage between the congregation and the rabbi. And it was a very moving affair for those who remember it. And, I can't remember all the details, but it was very moving because it is, Rabbi, a wedding between us and you that we're joining together on the path of our Judaism.
Thank you. The next rabbi had great personality. Rana, where are you? She gets to talk about Gabriel Ben-Or. Did you hear that, everybody? Oh.
Okay, I can only imagine him driving or riding up his motorcycle up to Shul the first time around, and oh my goodness, he's riding a motorcycle here in Texas. You know what? I have a son and daughter-in-law who both ride Harleys. You don't see that many Jews ride motorcycles and everything like that. So that had to have been a real trip. I wasn't a member at that point in time. But Rabbi Gabriel Ben-Or started his rabbinic career here at Congregation Beth Torah in 1981. He was known as the motorcycle rabbi. And if you know what, if you look him up online, he's still referred to as the motorcycle rabbi, no matter where and everything. He engaged our membership with his flair. Young people, both singles and families, were attracted to his cool personality. Gabby was a very caring person who extended himself to members and unaffiliated people in the community. That is why our membership grew during this time. His primary concern in Jewish life is the strengthening and unfolding development of the spiritual message which Judaism has to offer and the care and nurturing of his messengers, the Jewish people. Israel High. Thank you.
You're so good. Yeah. Following Gabi, without a motorcycle, was Rabbi Neil Sandler. And Jerry Zeffrin has lots to say.
Hi, Neil. Rabbi Sandler, well, let me say, first of all, he was here the first year of my presidency, and he was the fifth rabbi we had, including Rabbi Lippis, in about 6 years. And I was getting ready to recommend to the board of directors that the Rabbi Search Committee become a standing committee. Because it would always be operating. During the 5 years that Neil Sandler was here, though, we did a lot of maturing. And it was his tenure of 5 years that allowed us to do that. It gave us confidence that we had the stick-to-itiveness to be a successful congregation. And he was very instrumental in bringing in family programming. It was the first year that we were in this building, was his first year as our rabbi. And he integrated the use of the building to the congregation and vice versa. He also, I think, to me, the most significant thing he did was start our cemetery. He was very involved in getting the cemetery started. Norman and Happy Kramer have been doing some legwork, and when Neil came, he said it's very important for a congregation to have a cemetery. That's how you know you're a full-service congregation. So his work on that, he also worked on the booklet that is now on our website of the Guide to Mourning and Burial Practices. It's a very useful tool, and it is on the website. You can get there through the Learning tab. He is now getting ready to retire. He tried to retire 5 years ago from his congregation in Atlanta, but they wouldn't let him. And he was kind of stayed on and kind of eased his way into now emeritus status. And he also takes care of a small congregation in South Georgia on a once-a-month basis. He wrote us a letter on our 50th anniversary, and I wanted to read at least a couple of excerpts from it. Michael Precker has the letter, and if he may make it available to us. He says, "Dear congregation, Beth Torah and friends," this is on the occasion of our 50th anniversary. "Susan joins me in wishing you Mazel Tov as the congregation celebrates 50 years of contributing to the lives of its members, the Dallas Jewish community, and the general community." He says, "Beth Torah was my first congregation." He came out of school to us. He says, "Many years ago, I came to understand that my 5 years at Beth Torah set my course in the rabbinate. My congregants taught me what it meant to be a rabbi. We had lots of fun together. Sometimes we suffered together through difficult times. By the time Susan and I left the congregation, I knew I was meant to be a rabbi. Thank you to my Beth Torah friends." He's a good guy. He was one of the good guys.
Thank you, Jerry. Following Rabbi Sandler, got to put these back in some kind of order. We had Rabbi Jeffrey Lehner, who had the longest tenure as a rabbi. At that point, we're looking at you. And Ruth Feldman will talk about her friend.
Yes, he was my friend. Rabbi Jeffrey Lehner was the longest rabbi Beth Torah has had from 1989 to 2005. The only rabbi that remained in the Dallas area with his family till his death. He descended from a long line of rabbis on both sides of his family, but he also played the guitar in a rock band. So he was multifaceted. He was a man with many qualities and challenges and faced several painful losses during his tenure. He was present and at your side in difficult times, and in good times, maybe not as much. He had a gift to listen, care, and stand at your side when most needed. He made the preschool's Shabbat extra special with his music and his puppets. He was the chaplain of the Plano and the Dallas Police Department, rabbi of the LGBTQ and interfaith couples when they were just starting. Beth Torah has the Karen Lehner Charitable Day in memory of his beloved wife. Austin Clark, Karen's son, is now in New York, and one day he will also be a rabbi. He left us a beautiful legacy. Rabbi Lehner's wish was that when his journey through life in this world was finished, that he would have left a little bit better than it was. He was our rabbi, and he was our good friend.
Thank you. Thank you. Following Rabbi Lehner, maybe some of you are now in the stage where you know these rabbis. So we're going to ask Tony Teo, wherever you are, there you are, to come talk about Rabbi Adam Raskin.
Thank you, Vanna. Shabbat Shalom. As part of our Founders Day celebration, I was asked to give remarks reflecting upon the tenure, of Rabbi Adam Raskin. The last time I spoke about him from here was also during a period of transition. his oncoming departure from Beth Torah. This weekend, however, we are now celebrating a transition, the official installation of Rabbi Sidney to lead our congregation. So while tonight we may fondly speak about our past rabbis, we are far more excited about her and our future. To those here who did not have the opportunity to know Rabbi Raskin, he led our community from 2005 through 2011, informally joining it a little bit earlier than that through marriage. During his tenure, he was appreciated for his skills in writing and in delivering sermons, sometimes with props, his constant effort in helping each of us move forward on our individual Jewish journey, his nurturing of the Jewish identity and lifestyle of young families and their children, which was perhaps best exemplified by his support of our Rashi USY chapter that led to their earning International Chapter of the Year. Not to forget his joyous celebration of his favorite holiday of Purim. Anyone remember the Mad Hatter? His costumes were completely unpredictable, much to the joy of kids and adults. Rabbi Raskin nudged each of us to celebrate our Jewish selves, and as I said at the time of his departure, for 6 years, for 6 cycles of reading from our Torah, Rabbi Raskin led our congregation, taught us words of Torah, and showed us how wonderful it is to live a life defined by Torah. During those 6 years, from this very spot, Rabbi Raskin spoke to the congregation from his heart, at times with an unflinching candor and clarity about himself, his beliefs, and his doubts. Among many other things, Rabbi Raskin taught me it was to do the same. And with his example in mind, I encourage anyone who ever stands here to do the same. Shabbat Shalom.
Our wonderful Debbie Wills is going to talk about Rafi Cohen.
So when I was asked to speak about Rabbi Rafi Cohen, I decided to ask some people about their memories of him. So here's the results of my research. Rabbi Cohen served as our CBT rabbi from 2011 to 2014. His father was a rabbi, and Rabbi Rafi was very excited about being the head of his own congregation. Even before he began his first day on August 1st, 2011, he attended services, attended meetings, and had already begun supporting our CBT community. Rabbi Cohen almost always had a smile to share. He had a lot of energy and was very enthusiastic and was engaging in his conversations with his congregants. He was described by many as both personable and approachable, and he was always ready to listen. He supported our youth and connected with both kids and adults over sports in general and baseball in particular. His sermons, you may remember, covered many topics, sometimes all on the same day, but they always included something about baseball, a reference to baseball. It may have been as simple as let's hit a home run in the coming weeks by showing our kindness to each other. Everyone knew that he loved the Kansas City Royals. Rabbi Cohen connected to people in a personal and informal manner, often over a cup of coffee. One congregant remembered that in one of his high holiday sermons, he said he wanted Beth Torah to become like your local coffee shop where everyone knew each other by name and people would come just to hang out and visit and enjoy being together. Rabbi Rafi and Michelle have made many good friends while they were here, and they've remained in touch with many of those people. He and Michelle have also shown their generosity to Austin Clara and Elizabeth Elias as they moved to New York. Rabbi Cohen has served as the Dean of Admissions for the Jewish Theological Seminary in the recent past and is now the Rabbi and Assistant Director of Meaningful Life and Spiritual Care at the New Jewish Home in New York. He will be remembered here at Beth Torah for his warm smile, his positive energy, and his gentle and kind spirit.
Thank you. Thank you. You hear the caring? You hear how it threads through all these rabbis? It builds and builds and builds. And now we have Sid Friedman, who's going to talk about Rabbi Ilana Zeleny.
So I have the honor and pleasure to talk about Rabbi Zeleny, who I was fortunate to get to know during the search process and even more closely during my term as president. She was collaborative, open, smart, and caring, and was an amazing partner. She was truly a pioneer as the first female senior rabbi for a conservative synagogue in the state of Texas. It wasn't easy, but she handled the challenges with patience, grace, and most importantly, perseverance. She did not shy away from difficult conversations. In addition to those she had personally one-on-one or with a group, she encouraged listening from between other individuals and groups within the community. She worked closely with our kids to help them to get comfortable being on the bima, sitting with her on Shabbat, and leading many Wednesday classes in the sanctuary where they all had opportunities to participate and ask questions. Those were really fun Wednesdays. She was also great with the adults. I was fortunate to be a part of the class she created to help those of us who wanted to be service leaders. I would not be a service leader today without her encouragement and guidance and on the bima practice. She did that for many people here. She was socially conscious, making sure we washed dishes instead of plastic whenever possible. She would have liked it to be more than it was, but we definitely made progress. And making sure we recycled even when it had to be taken somewhere else because it didn't get picked up here. And something that was so important to me and my priorities as president was that she engaged with the broader community to help get Beth Torah's name more broadly recognized. Now I rarely hear the question I used to hear all the time. Where and what is Beth Torah? Rabbi Z has a beautiful voice, which was such a huge bonus and not part of the search guidelines. So many times over the years, either from a visitor here or at an event where she participated in the community, people came up to comment on her beautiful voice. We were spoiled during her tenure and are so fortunate to continue to be spoiled by Rabbi Sidney. But it was very important to our community, and I think that was new for us at that time. So Rabbi Zeleny made a big, beautiful, and long-lasting 9-year tenure on our community, and we are grateful.
You can hear the affection as our speakers, our members, our leaders talk about these rabbis. Great connection. And here is our current president, who's going to talk about our current rabbi, who's going to have a long tenure.
Thank you, Vanna. When we first found out that Rabbi Zeleny would be going back to California, my first thought as president was, how can we cope with the major expense of having to alter those white robes that the rabbi wears on high holidays? Thank you, John. To our great good fortune, we were blessed with a new rabbi who is similarly vertically challenged. So that turned out not to be a problem. But we have been rabbinically blessed in many other ways as well. Unlike the speakers before me, I don't have to go back and recount the history of people you may not remember or may not have known. We've all been privileged to witness how quickly Rabbi Rubinstein has meshed with our congregation and made it her own. Every week we experience and benefit from her wisdom, her kindness, her teaching, her inspiration, her joy, and her example of how 21st century Judaism can combine tradition, common sense, egalitarianism, inclusion, a true sense of community, and gender equality. And we have the added bonus of Rabbi Feivel, the best impromptu Torah reader in the entire state of Texas, and Shalom, who runs the place a little bit more every Shabbat. As we finally make this rabbinate official tomorrow, we can only hope that this Beshert Shidduch continues for many more Founders' Days and many more milestone anniversaries. Thank you, Rabbi Rubinstein. Thank you to all the rabbis of Beth Torah, and happy anniversary to all of us.
Thank you, Michael. This is a wonderful, wonderful event because it reminds us of our history and it inspires us. And talking about inspiration, we have, as a congregation, 5 rabbis homegrown. 5 of our kids, with one in the oven, Austin, have become rabbis. And that's really impressive, that we could generate that much inspiration and dedication with just a little shul, a friendly family. You know, we're just guys who get together and pray and try to do good. And we have 5 rabbis who we have produced. And that doesn't just happen. And I want to mention someone who wasn't a rabbi, but who was very involved in forming our culture. His picture is in the vestibule, and many of you just normally walk by, and he's on the wall, but does it really register? And that's Ron Grumman. And he wasn't a rabbi, but he had tremendous impact. And I want to give him some credit for working with our rabbis, for working as a safety net and keeping us honest in our Judaism. And as we move forward, we're going to keep it up. We're going to stay that friendly, warm, family atmosphere, and we're going to have wonderful spiritual, ethical, and Jewish, the taste, as we move forward. And tomorrow is going to be a big day. Come in the morning to services where we have the official installation. I'm sure there's room for any of you who want to come and party at night. I don't know who you would talk to Michael. If you haven't gotten a ticket yet or made arrangements, we'd love to have you because we are a family and our doors are always open. So thank you.
Be right with you. We're going to do the Maariv service now, which begins on page 39A in Lev Shalem. The other books are 280 and 28. Please rise for the Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach leolam va'ed. You may be seated. Let's read together the bottom paragraph on page 39A in the English. Baruch atah Adonai, our God, sovereign of time and space, whose word brings the evening dusk, whose wisdom opens the gates of dawn, whose understanding changes the day's division, whose will sets the succession of seasons and arranges the stars in their places in the sky, who creates day and night, who rolls light before darkness and darkness from light, who makes day pass into night,
who distinguishes day from night. Adonai Tzevaot is your name, living and ever-present God. May your rule be with us forever and ever. Baruch atah Adonai, who brings each evening dusk. El chai v'kayam, tamid yimloch aleinu leolam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai, hamariv aravim. Page 40. Ahavat olam, Beit Yisrael, amcha ahavta. Torah u'mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, otanu limahadeta. Al ken Adonai Eloheinu, b'shokveinu uvkumeinu, nasiach b'chukecha, v'nismach b'divrei Toratecha, u'v'mitzvotecha, le'olam va'ed. Ki heim chayenu ve'orech yameinu uvahem negeh yomam v'layla v'ahavatcha al tasir mimenu le'olamim Baruch atah Adonai ohev amo Yisrael. Page 41. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha, b'chol levavcha, u'b'chol nafshecha, u'b'chol meodecha, ve'hayu advarim ha'ele, Asher Anochi mitzavcha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'veitecha uvlektecha v'aderech uv'shakpecha uv'kumecha uv'kshatam leot ahoyadecha v'ayulotot tafot b'neinecha Uktavtam, amzuzot beitecha, uvihisharecha. Continue quietly until the bottom of page 42. Adonai Elohechem Emet, page 43. Emet be'emuna kol zot, Emet be'emuna kol zot, Emet be'emuna, Emet be'emuna, Emet be'emuna kol zot, Bekayam aleinu ki hu Adonai Eloheinu. V'yein zulato v'anachnu Yisrael amo. Emet ve'emuna kol zot, Emet ve'emuna kol zot, Emet ve'emuna, Emet ve'emuna, Emet ve'emuna kol zot. Hapodenu miyad melachim Malkeinu, Ago aleinu mikaf kol ha'aritzim. Emet ve'emuna kol zot, Emet ve'emuna kol zot, Emet ve'emuna, Emet ve'emuna, Emet ve'emuna kol zot, Emet ve'emuna, Emet ve'emuna, Emet ve'emuna kol zot. Continue quietly to the bottom of the page.
And we continue on page 44. Umalchuto Bitzon kiblu alehem Moshe uMiriam uvnei Yisrael L'chanu shira b'simcha rabba v'yamru chulam Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai Mi kamocha nedar ba'kodesh Nohora tehilot Osefele Malchutecha ra'uvanecha Boke'ayam lefnei Moshe Zehelianu ve'amru Adonai himeloch leolam va'ed V'nehemar Kifada Adonai et Yaakov Ugalo miyad chazak mimenu Baruch ata Adonai Ga'al Yisrael. Page 45. Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leShalom V'hamidenu Malkeinu leChaim. Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leShalom V'hamidenu Malkeinu leChaim. Let's read together in English this wonderful prayer for peace. Allow us, Adonai our God, to sleep peacefully. Awaken us to life, O Sovereign. Spread over us your canopy of peace. Restore us with your good counsel, and save us for the sake of your name. Shield us. Remove from us enemies, pestilence, sword, and starvation, and sorrow. Remove the evil forces that surround us. Shelter us in the shadow of your wings, for you, God, watch over and deliver us, and you, God, are sovereign, merciful, and compassionate. Ensure our going and coming for life and peace, now and forever. May you spread over us your canopy of peace. Baruch ata Adonai, who spreads the canopy of peace over us, over all the people Israel, and over Jerusalem. Hapore sukat shalom aleinu, v'al kol amo Yisrael, v'al Yerushalayim. We continue on 46 with V'shamru. Please rise if you're able. V'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבא ילמד דברי חירותי וימליך מלכותי בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל בגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן יהי שמי רבא מבורך לעולם עולם מעלמיה יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה להילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה Tushbechata v'nechemata damiran dialma v'yimeru. Amen. The Amida for Shabbat evening is recited silently, beginning on page 47 through page 52. On page 50, there's a reading for Rosh Chodesh, which we include because tonight is Rosh Chodesh Mar Cheshvan. Ose shalom bimromav, uyase shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru, yimeru, amen. Yase shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, Yase shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael. Yase shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael. Yase shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imiru, amen. Page 53, please rise if you're able. Vayechulu hashamayim v'haaretz v'chol tzevam ויכל אלוהים ביום השביעי מלאכתו אשר עשה. וישפוט ביום השביעי מכל מלאכתו אשר עשה. ויברך אלוהים את יום השביעי ויקדש אותו כי בו שבת מכל מלאכתו כי בו שבת מכל מלאכתו אשר ברא אלוהים לעשות. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו ואמותינו, אלוהי אברהם, אלוהי יצחק ואלוהי יעקב, אלוהי שרה, אלוהי רבקה, אלוהי רחל ואלוהי לאה. האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון, קונה שמיים וארץ. מגן אבות בדברו, מחיי מתים במאמרו, האל הקדוש האין כמוהו, המניח לעמו ביום שבת קודשו. כי בם רצה להניח להם, כי בם רצה להניח להם, לפניו עבוד ביראה ופחד, ונודה לשמו בכל יום תמיד מאוד הברכות. אל ההודעות אדון השלום, מקדש השבת ומברך שביעי, ומניח בקדושה ליעמדו שני עונג, זכר למעשה בראשית. You may be seated. Let's continue on reading at the top of the page in English on page 54. Our God and God of our ancestors, embrace our rest. Make us holy through your mitzvot, and let the Torah be our portion. Fill our lives with your goodness and gladden us with your deliverance. Purify our hearts to serve you truly. Adonai, our God, lovingly and willingly grant that we inherit your holy Shabbat, that the people of Israel who make your name holy may find rest on this day. Baruch atah Adonai, who makes Shabbat holy. Yitgadal v'yikdash shemei Rabbah, v'alma divrach rutei v'yamlich malchutei v'chayechon v'yomechon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael b'agala v'zman kari v'yimeru. Amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevarach le'alam u'lal me'almaya yitbarach yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitba'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudusha le'ela min kol berchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damiran v'alma v'yimeru תתקבל צלותון ובאותון דכל ישראל, כאדם אבוהון דבשמיא וימרו. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיא בחיים, עלינו ועל כל ישראל וימרו. עושה שלום עם רומיו, הוא יעשה שלום. עלינו ועל כל ישראל וימרו. Amen. And at this point I want to say, we got a nice email this morning from Joanne and Eric Pasternak, wishing us a wonderful anniversary on our 50th anniversary. They were members almost 50 years ago, and they live in Minnesota now, and I'm sure they're watching on streaming. Hello, Eric and Joanne. Let's continue on page 56. Please rise for the Aleinu. Aleinu Shabbat Ladon. ככתוב בתורתך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד, ושמו אחד. Do you have a copy of the program? I don't have it. Thank you.
Today at Congregation Beth Torah, along with the memories of the rabbis we mentioned who are no longer living, we are remembering Esther Lurie, Louis Sorkin, Philip Halpern, Fanny Berliant, Greteline Atwood Hill, Miriam Soman, Richard Byron Hill, Toby Shkarofsky, Carol Annberg Greenblatt, and Solomon Greenberg, and Lillian DeWaskin. Is there anyone else today who we're saying Kaddish for who you want to be recognized? Gwen Davis. Greg Eves. Charles Weiner. Zichronam Livrcha, may all of their memories be for a blessing. If you are in a period of mourning or observing a yard site, please rise and recite with me. Yit Gadol ve'yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah Be'alma Dirak Yerutei V'yamlich Malchutei B'chayachon Uvyomechon Uv'chayei Dechol Beit Yisrael Ba'agala Uvizman Kariv V'imru Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah Mevarach Le'alam U'almei Almaya Yit Barach Ve'yish Tabach Ve'yit Pa'ar Ve'yit Romam Ve'yit Naseh V'yit Hadar, V'yit Aleh, V'yit Halal, Shemei Kudusha B'richu, Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shmaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav, Hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. You may be seated.
President. Thank you, Rabbi. Shabbat Shalom. Happy Founders Day. Welcome to Beth Torah, to everyone here and everyone on the stream. Special welcome to Rabbi Rubinstein's father, Mike, and his grandmother, her grandmother from Philadelphia, Joanne. Thank you to Jerry Zeffrin and Jessica Winter for leading services, to everyone who told us about our rabbinical heritage, and to Linda Markowitz, Zaylene Lovett, and Katie Babin, who put together this wonderful program. Thanks so much to David Adler, one of our founding families, for joining us tonight. We're so glad you're here. And Patty Fields, we hope you're watching us from Colorado, because we wish you were here too. This is just the start of a great weekend kicking off our golden anniversary. Tomorrow morning begins with a Sisterhood Rosh Chodesh gathering at 9 here at the synagogue. The Shabbat service celebrating Rabbi Rubinstein's official installation starts at 9:30, followed by a festive lunch catered by Stacy Clark and the Market. There's also Tat Shabbat at 10 and free childcare starting at 10:30. I hate to disagree with Zaylene, but tomorrow night's reception, Havdalah, and dinner in honor of our rabbi is pretty much sold out. Meanwhile, please join us for a reception in the newly acoustically improved Oneg room. Thank you, Sisterhood. And we'll see you in the morning. Shabbat Shalom.
We'll conclude the service with Yigdal on page 62. and then we'll have Kiddush. Okay, we're going to have these great people to pass out the wine. Yigdal, page 62. Yigdal Elohim Chai ve'yishtabach nimsa v'henei el metziuto echad v'en yachid keyichudo melam v'gam ein sof le'achduto ein lo demut haguf v'eino guf lo na'aroch elai v'kudash kato Kadmon lechol davar asher nivra rishon ben reshit lereshito hino adon olam v'chol notzar yoreh gedulato u'malchuto shefa nevuato netano el ansei segulato v'tifarto Lo kam b'Yisrael kemo she'od Navi u'ma'abrid et emunato Torat emet natan le'amoel Al yad neviot neman beito Lo yachal Yifa'el ve'lo yamir dato Le'olamim le'zulato Sofer yodea setarenu mabit l'sof davar bekad mato gomel ish chesed kemifalo noten l'rashara v'rishato yishlach leketz yamin meshichenu livdot mechakeketz yeshuato Metim Yechayeel berov chasdo Baruch Adei Shem Tehilato Metim Yechayeel berov chasdo Baruch Adei Shem Tehilato.
The red or white?
I'll take the red, the real stuff.
Yasher Koach to Jerry, to Jessica, but also to Rachel Dyack and Rachel Dyack and Lily Page Rubinstein for both changing our pages, showing us our page numbers, and for handing out Kiddush for us. They've gotten a lot of exercise today and are still somehow in this room. So thank you. Yasher Koach. Page 55. Savri, please rise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu. V'shabbat kodsho b'ahava u'ratzon hinchilanu. Zikaron lemahaseh bereshit, ki hu yom techila lemikrae kodesh, zecher l'tziyah mitzrayim, ki vanu v'acharta v'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava u'ratzon hinachaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.